My beloved child, don't skip. Listen carefully, because if this message has found you today, something inside your connection is already changing. This is not just another story about love, and it is not another passing thought that will disappear by tomorrow morning. Something huge is waiting for you, and what happened next changed everything. Somewhere, without you knowing, someone has been replaying your name in their mind over and over again. They have tried to silence their emotions, bury their memories, and convince themselves that walking away was the safest choice. But the heart has a language the mind can never completely control. Tonight, while the world grows quiet and distractions begin to fade, your soulmate is facing a truth they can no longer outrun. They are crying, not because they suddenly became weak, but because they have finally realized your reality. That you were never pretending, never playing games, and never loving them halfway. For a long time, they misunderstood your silence. They thought your patience meant you did not care enough. They believed your kindness would always be there no matter how many chances they wasted. Every time you stepped back instead of arguing, they assumed you had already moved on. Every moment you chose peace over drama, they mistook it for indifference. They never saw the invisible battles you fought when no one was watching. They never knew how many nights you stayed awake wondering whether they would ever understand your heart. Now those hidden moments are returning to them like echoes, and every memory carries a weight they cannot ignore. Stay till the end because this changes everything. They are remembering conversations they once dismissed. They are hearing your words differently now. Sentences they barely noticed before suddenly carry deep meaning. Even your smallest gestures have become impossible to forget. The smile you forced when you were hurting. The gentle encouragement you gave when they doubted themselves. The way you believed in them even when they refused to believe in themselves. Every forgotten detail has become another reason their heart feels heavier tonight. The realization is arriving piece by piece, and with every piece comes another tear. The strange part is that nobody forced this awakening. No dramatic confrontation happened. No one exposed the truth to them. Life itself became their teacher. They met people who promised everything but delivered nothing. They experienced conversations without honesty, affection without loyalty, and attention without commitment. Slowly, they began comparing every encounter to the way you once treated them. That comparison became impossible to escape. They finally understood that what they lost was never ordinary. You offered something rare, something genuine, something that cannot simply be replaced. Type Amen to get blessings 777. Don't skip, because the next realization shook them even more than the first. They finally understand that your love was never about controlling them. It was never about making them feel guilty. You never asked them to become someone else just to deserve your affection. You simply wanted honesty, consistency, and mutual respect. Those simple desires seemed ordinary at the time, but now they recognize how extraordinary they really were. The world has shown them what love looks like when it lacks sincerity, and only now can they see how deeply authentic your heart truly was. There have been moments recently when they suddenly stopped in the middle of an ordinary day. A familiar song started playing. A place reminded them of your laughter. Someone used a phrase you often said. Even the smallest coincidence became enough to pull them back into memories they thought had disappeared forever. They tried to push those feelings away, but every attempt only made them stronger. It feels as though every road somehow leads back to you, and every unanswered question has your name hidden somewhere inside it. Listen carefully. Something huge is waiting for you. Their pride is beginning to lose its grip. The walls they spent so much time building around their emotions are beginning to crack. Behind those walls is someone exhausted from pretending they are unaffected. Behind those walls is someone quietly wishing they had chosen differently. They keep asking themselves impossible questions. What if they had stayed? What if they had listened? What if they had appreciated you before distance taught them your value? Those questions refuse to leave, and the silence between each answer feels louder than any argument ever could. What happened next changed everything. Instead of blaming you, they started blaming themselves. Instead of searching for your mistakes, they began seeing their own. That shift has been painful because accountability always arrives carrying uncomfortable truths. They remember every message they ignored, every opportunity they postponed, every moment they assumed you would simply wait forever. The realization hurts because they finally understand that love cannot survive on assumptions alone. It must be protected while it is still present, not mourned after it disappears. As night falls, their emotions become even harder to hide. During the day they can distract themselves with work, responsibilities, and endless noise. But late at night, when everything grows quiet, there is nowhere left to run. Your memory sits beside them in silence. They remember the warmth of your presence, the comfort of your words, and the feeling of being truly understood. Those memories have become impossible to silence. They close their eyes hoping for rest, yet somehow they find themselves reliving moments they once overlooked. Every memory whispers the same truth: they did not lose someone ordinary. They lost someone whose love was real. Stay till the end because the biggest realization has not arrived yet. They now understand that your greatest strength was never perfection. It was your ability to love while remaining true to yourself. You never begged to be chosen. You never abandoned your values simply to keep someone close. You loved with sincerity, but you also knew your worth. That balance confused them before, but today it inspires them. They finally recognize that your quiet strength was one of the most beautiful parts of who you are. Now their heart carries both hope and fear. Hope whispers that perhaps there is still time to make things right. Fear whispers that they may have waited too long. Every passing day feels more uncertain than the last. They imagine what they would say if they had another chance. They rehearse conversations that have never happened. They picture themselves finally admitting what they have hidden for so long. Yet vulnerability still frightens them because honesty leaves no place to hide. Still, their emotions continue growing stronger than their fear. This changes everything because the truth they have finally accepted is simple but life-changing. They have realized that you are not someone who entered their life by accident. You are someone who changed the way they understand love itself. You showed them patience without weakness, kindness without conditions, and strength without cruelty. You proved that genuine love does not need endless performances to be meaningful. Sometimes the quietest heart carries the deepest devotion. That truth has become impossible for them to deny. Whether the next chapter of your connection becomes a reunion, a heartfelt conversation, or simply a deeper understanding of what was shared, one thing is certain. Your soulmate is no longer seeing you through the eyes of fear or misunderstanding. They are finally seeing you for who you truly are, a person whose love was honest, whose heart remained genuine, and whose presence left a mark that time could not erase. And somewhere between their tears, their memories, and their growing courage, a new beginning may already be taking shape. Because sometimes the greatest miracle is not that someone finds love, but that they finally recognize its value before it is too late. The moment they accepted that truth, something inside them completely shifted. Listen carefully, because what happened next changed everything. The tears that once came from confusion are now falling because of clarity. For the first time in a very long time, they are no longer asking themselves whether they loved you. They know they did. The question haunting them now is whether they realized it too late. That single thought follows them everywhere, refusing to disappear no matter how hard they try to focus on anything else. Don't skip, because this next part reveals what has been happening behind the scenes. Every morning begins with the same silent battle. Before they even leave their bed, your face quietly appears in their mind. They remember little moments they once overlooked, the way your eyes searched for reassurance, the calm in your voice when everyone else was creating chaos, and the way you always seemed to understand emotions that were never spoken aloud. At the time, those moments felt ordinary. Now they realize those were the moments that built something extraordinary. They would give anything to relive even one of those conversations, just to respond differently. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. There have been nights when they almost reached for their phone, opened your conversation, and stared at your name for several long minutes. Their heart kept whispering, "Send the message." Their pride answered, "Wait one more day." That battle has repeated itself more times than you could ever imagine. Every unsent message has become another reminder of how fear can keep two hearts apart, even when love is still alive beneath the silence. The strange thing is that they can no longer escape reminders of you. A familiar fragrance in the air suddenly brings back a memory. A passing stranger laughs in a way that reminds them of you. Even places they never visited together somehow make them wonder what it would have been like if you had been standing beside them. It feels as though life itself keeps placing your memory in front of them. Every coincidence becomes another quiet invitation to face emotions they spent so long trying to hide. Don't skip. This changes everything. They have started noticing something they ignored before, how different life feels without your energy in it. The excitement they once chased no longer feels satisfying. Conversations that once distracted them now seem empty. They smile around other people, but deep inside they know something important is missing. It isn't just your presence they miss. They miss the version of themselves that only seemed to exist when they were with you. Late at night, when the world finally grows silent, they stop pretending everything is fine. They whisper questions into the darkness that nobody else will ever hear. What if they're happier without me? What if I've already lost my chance? What if the person I was searching for was beside me all along? Those thoughts return again and again, growing louder each night. The answers never come easily, but one truth has become impossible to deny: they still care more than they ever admitted. Listen carefully, because the next realization shook them to their core. They finally understand that real love was never supposed to be perfect. It was supposed to be honest. They spent so much time waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect words, the perfect circumstances, that they forgot the most important thing: love grows through courage, not perfection. That realization has filled their heart with both hope and regret, and every tear they cry now carries a silent promise that they never want fear to make another decision for them again. Something huge is waiting for you, but it begins with a change inside them. They are slowly becoming the person they wish they had been from the beginning. Not because someone forced them to change, but because your absence revealed lessons your presence could never fully teach. They are learning patience. They are learning gratitude. Most of all, they are learning that genuine love is not measured by words left unspoken but by the courage to finally speak them before time slips away. As this chapter comes to a close, one feeling rises above every other emotion inside their heart. It is no longer confusion. It is no longer denial. It is a quiet determination that refuses to disappear. Whether tomorrow brings a conversation, another unexpected sign, or simply another step toward healing, they know they cannot keep running from the truth. They have finally realized your value, your sincerity, and the place you continue to hold in their heart. And this is only the beginning, because the next chapter will reveal the decision they have been too afraid to make until now. My beloved child, don't skip. Stay till the end, because the chapter you are about to hear carries the emotional turning point they never imagined they would reach. For so long, they believed that time would erase everything they felt for you. They convinced themselves that distance would make your memory fade and that silence would eventually become easier to live with. But the opposite happened. Every passing day only made your absence more noticeable. Every sunrise reminded them that another day had passed without hearing your voice, and every quiet evening became another reminder that some connections refused to disappear. What happened next changed everything, because they finally stopped running from their own heart. One evening, while everyone around them was laughing and carrying on with life as if nothing had changed, they suddenly became quiet. The conversations around them faded into the background, and their thoughts drifted somewhere else entirely. Without warning, they found themselves remembering the smallest details about you, the way you listened without interrupting, the kindness hidden behind your smile, and the calm you brought into moments that once felt overwhelming. They realized those memories had never truly left. They had simply been buried beneath fear and distraction, waiting for the right moment to rise again. That realization was powerful enough to bring tears they could no longer hide. Listen carefully, because something huge is waiting for you. Their heart has begun speaking louder than their pride. Every excuse they once made now feels empty. Every reason they gave themselves for staying silent no longer makes sense. They keep replaying the final moments they shared with you, wondering how different everything might have been if they had simply spoken honestly instead of letting fear decide their future. Those unanswered questions have become impossible to ignore. They are no longer searching for someone to blame. They are searching for the courage they wish they had found long ago. The most surprising part is that they have started seeing your influence in every part of their life. The patience you showed has inspired them to become more patient with others. The compassion you offered has taught them to look beyond appearances. The strength you carried quietly has become something they admire more than ever before. They once thought your love was something ordinary that would always be available. Now they understand that genuine hearts are rare, and they fear they may have let one slip through their hands. That thought follows them wherever they go, refusing to leave their mind for even a single day. Stay till the end because this changes everything. There have been moments when they imagined what it would feel like if they saw you again unexpectedly. They picture themselves standing completely still, unable to find the right words because every emotion they buried would suddenly rise to the surface all at once. They wonder whether you would smile, whether you would simply walk away, or whether your eyes would reveal that some part of the connection still remains. These imagined moments have become so vivid that they feel almost real, leaving their heart racing every time they think about them. Late at night, when the world falls asleep, they find themselves whispering quiet apologies that no one else can hear. They are not asking for perfection anymore. They are asking for one more opportunity to show the truth they kept hidden for far too long. They understand that trust cannot be rebuilt overnight and that words alone cannot erase the past. Even so, something deep within them refuses to surrender. Hope has begun growing in the place where fear once ruled, and every passing day makes that hope a little stronger. Don't skip, because the next realization is the one that transformed everything. They finally understand that love is not proven by grand promises or dramatic speeches. It is revealed through consistency, honesty, and the willingness to remain present even when life becomes difficult. They now see that you were offering exactly that from the very beginning. While they were looking for certainty, you were quietly offering sincerity. While they were protecting themselves from imagined heartbreak, you were simply asking to be understood. The truth has become impossible for them to ignore. As dawn approaches, they make a silent promise to themselves. They no longer want to live with endless what-ifs. They no longer want fear to write the next chapter of their story. Whatever happens next, they know they must face the truth instead of hiding from it. Somewhere deep inside, they believe that some connections enter our lives not to be forgotten, but to transform us forever. Your memory has become that transformation for them, and with every heartbeat they are moving one step closer to the decision that once seemed impossible. What happens after that may become the moment that changes both of your lives forever. My beloved child, don't skip. Stay till the end because this chapter carries a moment your soulmate never believed they would experience. What happened next changed everything. The silence that once protected them has now become the very thing they fear the most. Every day they remain quiet feels heavier than the day before, as though their own heart is reminding them that some opportunities are too precious to leave unanswered. They can no longer convince themselves that ignoring their emotions will make them disappear. Instead, those emotions have become stronger, deeper, and impossible to escape. Something huge is waiting for you, because the truth they have been hiding is finally demanding to be heard. Over the past few days, they have found themselves looking at life differently. The goals they once chased so passionately no longer bring the same excitement. Success feels incomplete when there is no one special to celebrate it with. Even moments of happiness seem strangely quiet because they keep imagining how different everything would feel if you were standing beside them. They finally understand that love is not simply about finding someone to spend time with. It is about finding the one person who makes ordinary moments feel unforgettable. That realization has left them emotional in ways they never expected. Over the past few days, they have found themselves looking at life differently. The goals they once chased so passionately no longer bring the same excitement. Success feels incomplete when there is no one special to celebrate it with. Even moments of happiness seem strangely quiet because they keep imagining how different everything would feel if you were standing beside them. They finally understand that love is not simply about finding someone to spend time with. It is about finding the one person who makes ordinary moments feel unforgettable. That realization has left them emotional in ways they never expected. Listen carefully. They have begun noticing signs that remind them of you everywhere they go. It isn't because the world has changed, it is because their heart has changed. A familiar melody suddenly stops them in their tracks. A quiet sunset reminds them of a conversation they once shared with you. A stranger's laughter echoes something they remember hearing from you long ago. Even the smallest details seem to carry your presence. They have stopped calling these moments coincidences. Instead, they see them as reminders of a connection they can no longer deny. Stay till the end because this changes everything. For the first time, they admitted something to themselves that they had never spoken aloud. They whispered your name into the silence and allowed themselves to feel every emotion they had buried. The tears came without warning. They weren't tears of weakness. They were tears of honesty. They realized they had spent so much time protecting themselves from rejection that they never realized they were also protecting themselves from love. That painful truth has become the beginning of their emotional awakening. Every night, before falling asleep, they replay the story of your connection from the very beginning. They remember the first spark of curiosity, the first meaningful conversation, the first time they noticed that being around you felt different from being around anyone else. They remember the moments they smiled because of you without even realizing it. They remember the comfort they felt in your presence and the peace that seemed to surround every conversation. Looking back now, they see what they couldn't see then. Love had already begun growing quietly while they were too afraid to acknowledge it. Don't skip, because the next moment is one they never imagined. They have started preparing themselves for the possibility of speaking honestly. They don't know exactly when the opportunity will come, but they know they cannot keep carrying this emotional weight forever. They have practiced the words countless times in their mind. They imagine saying, "I finally understand what you meant." They imagine admitting, "I was afraid, but I never stopped caring." They imagine telling you that your kindness became the standard by which they now measure every relationship. Every imagined conversation ends with one hope that you will truly hear their heart this time. Listen carefully because something huge is waiting for you. Deep inside, they believe your connection was never meant to teach them regret. It was meant to teach them courage. Every mistake they made has become a lesson. Every tear has become a reminder of what genuine love is worth protecting. Every lonely night has shown them that running away from emotions only creates greater pain. They are no longer the same person they were when fear made every decision. Growth has quietly transformed them, one difficult realization at a time. Listen carefully because something huge is waiting for you. Deep inside, they believe your connection was never meant to teach them regret. It was meant to teach them courage. Every mistake they made has become a lesson. Every tear has become a reminder of what genuine love is worth protecting. Every lonely night has shown them that running away from emotions only creates greater pain. They are no longer the same person they were when fear made every decision. Growth has quietly transformed them, one difficult realization at a time. As the days continue to pass, they begin noticing another change. Their fear is becoming smaller while their hope grows stronger. They no longer dream about escaping the past. Instead, they dream about creating a better future. They know they cannot rewrite yesterday, but they believe tomorrow still holds possibilities that have not yet been discovered. That belief gives them strength each morning. It reminds them that healing is possible, forgiveness is possible, and honest conversations are still possible if both hearts are willing to listen. My beloved child, stay till the very end because the next chapter will reveal the decision that has been quietly forming inside their heart. They have reached the point where silence hurts more than vulnerability. They understand that keeping their feelings hidden will only create more regret. The tears they cry today are washing away the fear that once controlled them. In its place, something beautiful is beginning to grow: a courage born from truth, a hope born from love, and a determination that refuses to disappear. The next step they take may become the one that changes the story forever, and the chapter that follows will reveal the moment their heart finally chooses action over fear. My beloved child, don't skip. Stay till the end because this chapter reveals the moment your soulmate finally stops fighting the truth inside their own heart. What happened next changed everything. The tears they have cried are no longer tears of confusion, they are tears of acceptance. For so long, they searched for answers everywhere except within themselves. They blamed circumstances, timing, distance, and even fate. But now they understand that the greatest obstacle was the fear they carried inside. The moment they admitted that truth, a weight they had carried for so long began to lift. Something huge is waiting for you because the next decision they make comes from a heart that has finally awakened. As another quiet night settles in, they sit alone with nothing but their thoughts. The world around them is peaceful, yet their heart refuses to rest. Every memory returns with incredible clarity. They remember the kindness you showed when no one else noticed their struggles. They remember how you encouraged them without expecting anything in return. They remember the moments when you believed in them even when they doubted themselves. Looking back now, they realize those moments were never ordinary. They were gifts they failed to recognize while they still had them. That realization fills their eyes with tears once again. Listen carefully. This changes everything. They have begun writing words they may never send. Page after page, they pour out everything they were too afraid to say. They write about the nights they secretly missed you. They write about the regret that followed every decision made from fear instead of love. They write about the emptiness that remained after convincing themselves they had moved on. Each sentence feels like another piece of their heart being set free. Even if no one ever reads those pages, they have finally stopped lying to themselves. Don't skip because the next part reveals something they never expected. They have started asking themselves one question every single day: what if this connection was meant to change me before it brought us together again? That question has transformed the way they see everything. Instead of focusing only on what they lost, they have begun focusing on the person they are becoming. They are learning patience where they once rushed. They are choosing honesty where they once stayed silent. They are embracing vulnerability where they once built walls. Slowly, they are becoming the person their heart always wanted to be. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. Recently, they found an old reminder of you, a photograph, a message, or perhaps simply a place filled with memories. For a long time, they avoided anything connected to your name because it hurt too much. But this time, they didn't turn away. They allowed themselves to remember every smile, every conversation, every quiet moment that once made them feel understood. Instead of pain, they felt gratitude. They finally realized that knowing someone like you was never a mistake. It was one of the greatest blessings their life had ever given them. Late into the night, they whisper something they have never admitted before. I still care. Those 3 simple words echo through the silence. There is no audience to impress, no pride left to protect, and no reason to hide anymore. It is just them, their heart, and the truth they can no longer deny. The confession is quiet, but it carries more emotion than any speech they have ever given. In that moment, they stop pretending that forgetting you was ever possible. Listen carefully because what happened next changed everything. They begin imagining a future where fear no longer controls their choices. They picture themselves speaking honestly instead of remaining silent. They imagine choosing courage instead of hesitation. They understand that there are no guarantees in love, but they also know that unanswered feelings create deeper regrets than honest conversations ever could. For the first time, hope feels stronger than fear, and that single change has transformed the direction of their entire journey. My beloved child, don't skip. Your soulmate has finally realized that true love is not measured by how loudly someone speaks but by how deeply they remain in your heart, even after time and distance try to pull you apart. They now understand that your presence changed them in ways they never appreciated before. Your compassion taught them kindness. Your patience taught them understanding. Your quiet strength taught them resilience. These lessons have become a permanent part of who they are, and they know they will carry them for the rest of their life. As this chapter comes to an end, their heart reaches one undeniable conclusion. They no longer want to wonder what could have been. They no longer want to let another sunrise pass while hiding behind fear. They are standing at the edge of a new beginning, ready to choose honesty over silence and courage over regret. The tears they shed have washed away the doubt that once clouded their heart. Now, all that remains is a quiet determination to follow the truth wherever it leads. And in the next chapter, the moment they have been preparing for will finally arrive, the moment when silence is broken, hearts are laid bare, and a single decision has the power to change everything forever. My beloved child, don't skip. Stay till the very end because this is the chapter where every tear, every unanswered question, and every silent prayer finally finds its meaning. What happened next changed everything. The long season of uncertainty did not last forever. Every lesson, every moment of waiting, and every emotion that seemed too heavy to carry had quietly been preparing both hearts for this very moment. Something huge is waiting for you, not because life suddenly became perfect, but because truth finally became stronger than fear. As another sunrise filled the sky with light, your soulmate made a decision they could no longer postpone. They realized they had spent enough time allowing fear to write their story. Regret had become too painful, and silence had become too loud. They understood that real love is never built on assumptions. It grows through honesty, patience, humility, and the courage to speak from the heart. For the first time in a very long while, they chose courage over comfort. They stopped asking, "What if I get hurt?" and started asking, "What if this is the chance I've been praying for all along?" Listen carefully, because this changes everything. They no longer wanted to be remembered as the person who stayed silent. They wanted to become the person who finally spoke the truth. Every tear they had cried had softened the walls around their heart. Every lonely night had taught them the value of genuine connection. Every memory of you had reminded them that some people enter our lives not to be forgotten, but to awaken the very best within us. They finally understood that your kindness was never weakness, your patience was never indifference, and your quiet love was one of the greatest gifts they had ever received. At that same time, something beautiful was happening within you as well. Whether you realized it or not, you had grown stronger. The waiting had taught you resilience. The uncertainty had taught you self-respect. You learned that your worth was never determined by someone else's timing or choices. You discovered that your heart could remain kind without losing its strength. Instead of chasing what was uncertain, you began choosing peace. Instead of allowing disappointment to define your future, you allowed hope to quietly rebuild your spirit. That inner transformation became one of the most powerful chapters of your journey. Don't skip, because the next moment became unforgettable. When the opportunity finally arrived, there were no dramatic speeches, no perfect movie scene, and no magical words that erased the past in an instant. There was simply honesty. Two hearts that had carried their own fears finally chose to stop hiding. Every conversation that followed was built on truth instead of assumptions. Every apology came from sincerity instead of guilt. Every smile carried a deeper meaning because both of them understood how easily genuine love can be overlooked when fear takes control. Stay till the end because something even more beautiful happened afterward. They no longer focused on who was right or who was wrong. They focused on understanding each other. They listened more carefully. They appreciated the little things they once ignored. They celebrated ordinary moments because they realized those ordinary moments are often the ones that become life's greatest memories. Slowly, trust began growing again, not because the past disappeared, but because both hearts chose to build something healthier than before. Listen carefully. The greatest miracle was not that someone suddenly became perfect. The miracle was that two people learned the importance of honesty, forgiveness, and emotional growth. They discovered that lasting love is not created by flawless people. It is created by imperfect people who choose compassion, respect, and understanding day after day. That realization became the foundation for a future neither of them could have imagined when everything seemed uncertain. My beloved child, if there is one message to carry with you after this story, let it be this: never underestimate the quiet strength of a sincere heart. Kindness is never wasted. Patience is never meaningless. Love given with honesty always leaves a lasting mark, whether it leads to reunion, healing, or a new beginning. Every experience shapes you into someone wiser, stronger, and more capable of giving and receiving genuine love. As the sun sets on this story, fear no longer has the final word. Regret no longer controls the future. Hope quietly takes its place. The tears that once fell from sadness are now replaced with gratitude for the lessons learned, the growth achieved, and the courage discovered along the way. Whatever tomorrow brings, both hearts move forward with greater wisdom, deeper compassion, and a renewed appreciation for authentic love. Thank you for staying until the end. Remember this. The most beautiful relationships are not the ones that never face challenges, they are the ones where both people choose truth over fear, understanding over pride, and hope over despair. And sometimes, the happiest ending is not simply finding someone else. It is becoming the person you were always meant to be and allowing love to grow from that place of honesty, strength, and peace. May your heart always choose kindness, your spirit always choose hope, and your future be filled with genuine connections that bring light, peace, and lasting joy. This chapter may be ending, but every new sunrise carries the possibility of another beautiful beginning.